Harmony is the fifth largest gold producer in the world with current output in the region of 1.3 million ounces per year. It has operations and projects in South Africa, Australasia and Papua New Guinea. Harmony has a market cap of 30.2 billion rand, a price to earnings ratio of 16 and a dividend yield of 1.5%. Many said that they've made far too much of this Papua New Guinea story in the short term.
Yes, and another thing, capital. They still haven't lined up the capital to enable them to really go ahead on satisfactory partnership terms. I think it's going to be a hurdle which is going to be hanging over their head and going to hold them down for the foreseeable future.
Well, if you aren't positive on any of the others, you're certainly not going to be positive on Harmony, or are you?
Well, look, they've got some interesting South African assets. Target, which is an ore body similar to South Deep, big fan underground, better than the sort of chasing the reef around, like they have at Joel and Bambanani and a few of the other places. They have plans to sell the Evander deposit, we know, to Pan African. I was a bit surprised by that because I would have thought Evander had some potential. I agree with you, though. It all comes down to what you can say about Hidden Valley and about Wafi Golpu, which is that joint venture with Newcrest out in Papua New Guinea. So it's kind of out in the jungle, 300 kilometers from Port Moresby, which is a pretty small town anyway in Papua New Guinea. So, I mean, the resource is quite big. It's one of those copper porphyry deposits.
But they have to start delivering on the story that they've been talking up, surely.
Yeah.
And the government keeps talking of changing the rules. That's another hurdle, you know, and I think that that's going to make it even more difficult getting a properly capitalized.
Do you think the market's going to give them some more time on the Papua New Guinea story?
Well, look, I mean, the fact is we know that gold is in relatively short supply around the world. That's one of the factors which underpins its popularity. We know that in India, household incomes are rising, and that for better or for worse, women in India collect gold as part of their dowries and so on and so forth. So I think the whole issue about, you know, Ben Bernanke and the end of fiat money and all of the excitement about that, that's all, I'm trying to think of a polite word. But the demand for gold remains. So a deposit like that, I think, is payable. And, you know, they're a 30 billion rand market cap company. It's not nothing. I think they could still pull this thing off, but I think it's a narrowed opportunity, and it's not something where you could say with great confidence that they'll get, you know, the support of the market.
Well, we've spoken about Mark Kutafani, Nick Holland. Again, disclosure, I don't have a crush on any of them, and neither Graham Briggs enter into the fray. What do you think about the management team at Harmony?
I think they're more than adequate. But the thing is that the hurdles that they're facing are probably going to keep the share price down for the foreseeable future, and I just don't see it as, even, certainly not for the widows and orphans, not even for my risk appetite, which can get extended at times. So no thank you.
When you hear the gold mining CEOs on television, on radio, you get very convinced of the story.
Yes.
They must believe the story. They're running the companies.
That's part of their job. They must do that.
Look, when Bernard Swanepoel quit, you know, because he was much beloved by the investment community, I remember, in fact, Graham Briggs' first media opportunity was here in the studio. And I remember being on immediately after him, and when the interviewer, I think it was Byron Kennedy, said, well, what did you think of that? I said, he'd reminded me of a bunny caught in the headlights. It was an awkward situation. It was like he was thrust into the job, and there was a lot of, you know, bad stuff flying around. I'm surprised he's lasted as long as he has.
It's not only from our viewers that you're going to get hate mail, but from the gold mining CEOs themselves. Hot or not on Harmony?
Not hot.
Hot or not?
No.